it is not a remake, it's not an adaptation, it's not a sequel, prequel. It is an independent series.
I really, really want to do a series because that's where we could do, as an actor, I could do a lot more.
Hi, this is Abhimanyu and I'm with Raj and DK, the creators of Farzi, The Family Man, Citadel, Indian. I could go on about what you guys have created. So I'll just stop there and we'll talk about Farzi first. In a story like this, how do you make sure that there's a balance, that you're not glorifying a criminal while making him sort of relatable, cool, both the things, that it should not glorify either side too much? How do you maintain that balance?
Correct. That is part of, that is really truly an important job we have as showrunners and the creators of the story. And that is why, in these kind of movies, you do have a juxtaposition, or you have the counter characters. Maybe it's his grandfather, maybe it's his friend, maybe it's his, chacha. There are people around our protagonist who always form the moral compass.
Right.
Because our hero or our protagonist is a flawed person. And while we want him, like in any criminal, in a movie about a criminal, somewhere subconsciously want him to succeed. But we also need to acknowledge that, yes, we like him personally and we want him to succeed for personal reasons, but what he's doing is wrong. And I think that's something that's very clear.
Now, this is a question for both of you, whoever is more comfortable can answer. I read somewhere that it was Shahid who approached you for the story. How did that come about? How did Shahid fit into the story, the series, once you had written it, and of course, how did that happen?
We had a draft. We were in the middle of writing it when we were talking about another film. Shahid was talking about another film the previous year, and we had met him about it. So we were discussing a film and if we should do it or not and all that stuff. So then suddenly we got a call saying, "Can we talk?" And he said, how about a series? I said, "Are you sure you want to do a series?" He said, "I really, really want to do a series because that's where we could do, as an actor, I could do a lot more." And we already knew in our heads what that story is going to be, like what it is. And we already had a feeling that he's going to really like it. So it was a very easy process. He just said, "I want to do a series." We said, "How about Farzi? This is the idea." And he said, "Yes, I love it." So it became that.
Yeah, it was pretty like...
Yeah, he's one of the first stars, or literally the first star to want and to get on to the web series, world before it was cool to do that. Yeah.
Raj, what about Vijay Sethupathi? I mean, he's such a formidable actor, big star, both of things. And I think this is his year of breaking through in Hindi industry as well, because he has been very well known in the South. And of course, people who consume South cinema as well, up in the North as well. But this is sort of his year where he's doing a number of, starting with Farzi, and then there's Jawan and everything else. So do you think this is his year when people in the North who haven't seen him, which is a very small number by now, also realize what a force he is?
Yeah, I think I'm going to love him. We really wanted him. As soon as we realized that he could even speak a bit of Hindi, right? First question was that, do you speak? I said, of course. I was in Dubai and, I used to work.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's it. We've got ours. Now we were just hoping that he would jump and take up the character, which he did. It was just a brief phone call and he said, "I always wanted to play this role. I have never gotten a role, an opportunity to play this specific thing." And he had this in mind that, there would be a character like this one day and I want to play that. I still remember that him telling me, and he quoted other films where he played the opposite of it.
Okay.
And he always wanted to see
specifically mentioned the Vikram Vedha where he was playing
That's what I was coming to. He's not
playing the crook and not the cop. And now it's always been in my head, what if I play the other half? I think maybe you want to play it in Vikram Vedha Hindi as well. I don't know, but this opportunity came along.
That's a fun way of looking at it because, as an actor, you always try to challenge yourself, right? So that's the opportunity he's getting here. Of course, he has challenged himself in a number of ways over the years anyway. So it will be interesting now because you say that he hasn't done this kind of a role. Now I'm intrigued as well because he has done pretty much everything, but not everything, of course. One thing I wanted to ask is that you always tend to, not always, but you like working with actors from that region. So if you have a role for a Tamilian, you will draw in a Samantha for the Family Man, or you will draw in Vijay Sethupathi here. This also helps make this series, as the word is being called today, pan-India. because it gets a wider appeal. So do you think that sort of terminology will come into web series as well? People are not talking about pan-India films, they'll say pan-India series as well.
I mean, we started doing this in Family Man, right? For all the right reasons. I mean, we didn't use the word pan-India. We don't know if that word was famous yet. But we decided that it's a web series. It's gonna play all over the country or all over the world, to be honest. And why not? And as it happened, the story was spanning all the way from Kochi to Kashmir.
Right.
And we said, let's be honest about it. Let's cast all the people who they are. Get actors from Kerala,
Right.
from Andhra, from Tamil Nadu, from everywhere, even from Kashmir, everywhere, and make them play. And what it did for us was suddenly it opened up the world to choose from. That's where I think it's a good thing for us. Like it became like a good privilege or a good opportunity for us to say, okay, instead of choosing from these 100 actors, choose from these 1,000 actors. And suddenly, look at us, right? We are getting to work with so many great actors without any other limitation.
Of course, Farzi is a starting point for you this year, but this is going to be a very busy year for you guys, right? I mean, just before one of your shows is coming up, announcement about another show has begun. And that's always a promising sign, because the busier you are, the better it is for us as audiences to watch the work that you're coming up with. So I will not ask you to reveal much, but so much has been said about Citadel. And I'll tell you one small thing. I was in Mumbai when the Grey Man screening was happening. You guys were there. You had a chat with the Russo for the first time, I suppose, ever. And I was standing 5 feet away just listening to you guys. That's pretty much it. I was not eavesdropping, but I was just this a very nice moment of these filmmakers from such diverse backgrounds, such diverse cultures coming in together for a project. So without revealing much, what can you tell us about Citadel that will not reveal or spoil anything, but sort of increase curiosity?
No, we met the Russo brothers in their office like a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
That's when this whole thing started. So it was nice to catch up with them again. We were, it's in touch over mails and that. So it was really, we caught up later the next day and chatted and all. So we learn a lot, right? Once you go there, also we see them, we saw them in their writers' rooms. So that was pretty cool to see, how things were falling into place for them, how they were designing Citadel. Citadel is a universe. They're doing like a spy universe, and which consists of many series. It's not episodes. It's many series. So there is one series set in America, one series set in India, one in Italy, and they might add a couple of countries in the next run. So these are series, but they are somehow interconnected.
Okay.
So they are, like, for example, they're directing the American series, we're directing the Indian series. Really cool producers. The Gomorro guys are producing the Italian series. So they're just independent series, but they are all under the umbrella of the universe of cinema.
The one larger. So how was it this time? Because you guys tend to write your own stuff, but this time you had a structure within which you had to write. So how was that?
No, actually, this is also our own stuff only, because the story is ours, the concept is ours, everything is ours. The only thing is we are writing our story, our concept in their world, like in their universe. That's the only difference. So from the word go, from the scratch, this is our story. Just like we've written Farzi, we wrote this, except we set Farzi in, say, today's India, in the world of counterfeiting. This we have set in a world that the plate is theirs, the meal is entirely ours.
Okay.
That's how it is. And just so I want this to be clear, because I keep seeing reports in the media about Indian adaptation and Indian remake and Indian sequel. So I just want to say it's not a remake, it's not an adaptation, it's not a sequel, prequel. It is an independent series of its own.
Right.
That is part of this overall universe of Citadel.
Yeah. And I'll just wrap it up with one question that a lot of your fans wanted me to ask. It's so great you're doing Farzi. It's so great you're doing Citadel ka Indian installment. I won't call it anything else. They're like, Family Man 3, is it happening or not happening? I said, okay, I'll ask. Or what is the deal with that?
It is happening.
It is happening, of course.
We're gonna get
but of course it will take its own time.
Next in line. Yeah, I should say.
All right. Great chatting with you guys. All the best for Farzi, and hopefully we can do this again sometime in person. Thank you.